What's up, everybody? It is August. Is it 19th? The 19th already? August 19th?
Tomorrow's the 19th.
Tomorrow's the 19th. Today's the 18th. And I am Justin, Gym Therapy Inc. I'm here with Kim Botteicher from FAVOR and Jenna Lampke from us. So we're from us. We're just going to come down. I want to kind of highlight Kim's business and what she's been doing here. A lot of you guys may know I switched jobs and I now work at Ebensburg Yamaha. So if you guys ever need anything, any rides, any
nice plug.
Yeah, right. I do it every week. Don't worry. I make sure I always wear my gear too.
I
so
like
that
it.
Way, But yeah, so that's about the only thing that's been happening the last couple of weeks. Hopefully you guys checked out our video on Jasmine Mock getting prepared for the CrossFit Games. That'll be coming up here in the next couple of weeks. But let's get started. Kim, how are you today?
I'm well, thank you.
Good. So do you want to tell us a little bit about this? The place is called FAVOR. What does FAVOR stand for?
So FAVOR is Faces and Voices of Recovery.
Okay.
We adopted that name. There is a national FAVOR. We're not, like, they don't do affiliates or anything, but you can use the name if you're an RCO,
okay,
which means you're a recovery community organization.
Okay.
So we are FAVOR Western Pennsylvania. And then our subtitle is Bolivar Community Center, because we knew we wanted to integrate both the recovery system along with just general society, right? Because, everything we do, we do it together.
That's right.
So
this is the place we've been throwing pictures up for the last year or so. This is the place we teach. Jenna and I teach classes on Thursday nights, every other Thursday. And it's in Bolivar if anybody wants to come down.
Big town.
Yeah, the big town of Bolivar. Yeah.
Beautiful though. Beautiful little
Absolutely.
town.
Yeah. I like the little park that we have.
I know.
Up here. It's such a perfect
Parks
little
and Rec
area.
do an amazing job taking care of that. Yeah.
So what started all this for you?
So probably about 17 years ago, I would say, I found out that I had a loved one. One of my children was addicted to heroin.
Okay.
And at that time, I never say he or she, because it's not my story to tell, it's their story to tell.
Yeah.
But there was no help for families. And so when I would go and try to find help, it would be, well, there's nothing you can do. After the age of 18, they're on their own. And I'm like, yeah, but see, I've already buried 2 children, and this is something that I can help prevent. And so I just started learning about everything, because there were no agencies that would help. None. You're just family. You're just family. They have to come to that conclusion that they want help on their own.
Yeah.
And I didn't agree with that.
One of my favorite parts about this place is it's not set up just for the addict. It's set up for the family and the loved ones around them.
And honestly, Justin, that was our entire focus was family. I never thought it would snowball to helping every single person walking in this door. I expected this to stay families, but I started upstairs in my coffee shop, and it was me and my sister-in-law, Donna. And, we just started telling families, like, look, we're here for support. We don't know all the answers. We're in the same place you are. But come on in. And then we started an R&on group. And then we also started All Recovery, which is just looking at all pathways. Mm-hmm. Anyway, we started upstairs. And within maybe 6 months, we outgrew my upstairs coffee shop area. And we moved down here to the bottom floor. So, and again, it has just snowballed to the point that, like, hundreds of people have come through these doors for help. So
yeah, and what you do for this community is fantastic, and there's not places like this out here. And this all started because of you, and you should be super proud of what you've built here. And
I am. Thank you. It's very humbling at the same time, but I will tell you, it isn't though. This is not me, and I don't know what your faith is. It doesn't matter to me. This was all moved by God. This was all something that just said, look, this is the next step. People need this, right? You needed it. Other people need it. And again, who would have ever thought that it would have snowballed to the point that it is, and that the grant people are going like, hey, let us help you out, and that sort of thing. So it's the snowball effect it's by the grace of God. Yeah. It really is. I'm just that catalyst, maybe, that opens the doors.
Yeah.
So, the experts that come in and teach about the different drug trends and what you can do if your loved one is addicted, none of that is Kim. I have no degrees in anything. I do have some certifications now, but none of that medical stuff. That's all stuff that we bring in here for the community.
Yeah.
So
I think what people don't realize too is it's never just one person that's affected by drugs and alcohol.
No.
It is every single person in their family,
their work,
if they're even working for and to be able to bring all those people into one place and educate the communities, I think is something pretty fantastic. How many people do you employ?
So we have currently just 2 employees. We did put in for a few grants. I would like to get 2 more based on the need of so many people coming in the doors. We really need 2 more employees, and I definitely need like a secretary here or somebody that can do all the extra paperwork and stuff. So we'll see if we get the grants, but for now it is the 2 CRS. One of them has just become CPS certified, which is the peer support, which is good. We need that here. And then the other employee is also going for peer support training next month. So
good.
So that we have both, because we all know that that's what happens. Addiction is not just addiction all by itself. It started from something. I don't know the current statistic, but I want to say something like 90% of folks also have an underlying mental health, which is why I love what you do when you come here, because you're dealing with that side of that we all know can bring people down.
Yeah.
Well, if it's an undiagnosed and untaken care of, if that's a word, mental health condition, then what are we going to do? We're going to self-medicate.
Absolutely.
All of us, no matter whether you're already in addiction or you're a mom who's going crazy right now. It's easy to self-medicate. So,
in my opinion, every addict has an underlying mental health condition.
I believe that.
If it's not 100, it's 99%.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
We've all been experienced that. Jenna does a great job whenever she comes down with us to add an element from some experience and friends and family. Jenna, what do you think about this place down here?
This is one of my favorite places to go.
Thank you.
Absolutely. The connection, I think, is what's so important when you walk in the door. You feel connected to the people that are here. Just having a place to go where you can ask questions, where you don't have to say, this might sound like a stupid question, because there aren't any stupid questions. It's just about peer support and helping people, not just through addiction, but through all of their life struggles. Addiction is just one of the struggles, I think, that people come here and look for help with.
And it's interesting that you should say that, because one of the things that seems to be like across the board, everybody who comes in here will say, is that they felt like it was family from the get-go. When no one, there's lots of times when families have abandoned their loved one. And I understand that, because it would be easy to say, look, I'm done, but this is a place where they can come with no stigma attached, no judging, no nothing, but also on the family side, they can come in and ask questions that whatever Aunt Nellie isn't going to say, oh, you should just throw them out, but instead you're going to say, like, okay, so what can we do to help? Where do you want to go with your life path?
Can we you just said you should, and that made me think of the first time we met. I don't know if you remember, you came to a meeting at Trista's gym in Indiana.
Yes.
And I was struggling a lot with my son. He's 18 now. He's doing a bit better. We're still day to day. But I was struggling with him a lot, and I was saying about how much anger I was carrying, because I always heard people talk about how it's the parents' fault. I blame the parents, and every time your child does something wrong, you internalize it and take it as a personal failure. And I said to you that I have people telling me what I should do. You should do this, you should do that. And can you tell everybody what you told me? And I've carried that with me every day since then.
Jenna, that's neat. I always say, don't should on people. And because, that was from years ago when I used to do direct sales with Mary Kay, and that was one of our trainings. Don't should on people. Don't tell people what they should be doing or should not be doing. Everybody's life is different. And so when you said that day, and you're going to make me cry, when you said that day, it was like, stop shooting on yourself. So
yes, and I absolutely I've quoted that many
I love
times
that.
Since then.
So you never know what you might say to someone that sticks,
That's
right?
going to make a light bulb come on. Yeah, absolutely.
It's the same with those coming through the doors. Sometimes the severe addiction come in. And in fact, that is mostly what we're seeing. We're seeing the people that aren't going to get help anywhere else. And that's one of the greatest things, is that's what you'll hear them say, is you listened and you cared. You know, I remember going to someone one time, his mom had pretty much had all she could take, and she's like, can you go talk to him? And you know, and people will hesitate doing that, and I get judged for that all the time, like, you shouldn't go do that, you know, so stop shitting on me and let me do what I want. But I'm gonna walk up to this dude and I'm gonna ask him if he needs help. And when I went to the door and we're talking, the air conditioner was out of the wall, and you know, table furniture was all sold, and he said, I know my mom sent you. And I said, yeah, can we help? And we sat down and talked, and he was crying by the time we were done, and he said, you really do care. I said, I do really care, because you could be my kid, but for sure you're someone's kid, or you're someone's grandson, you know, or brother, whatever. And he went to treatment the next day. So yeah, there's just, people just have to listen without shoulding.
That's absolutely it. I think 95% of the battle is just closing your lips, getting past your judgment, and just hearing what that person's telling you and listening to them.
Yes, for sure.
Open-mindedness is one of the number one things. My number one thing for recovery, I think, is environment. I really do think environment's the most important part in recovery. It's the people, the places, whether you're at work, whether you're somewhere. And what this place provides is that safe space for anybody to come in at any time. Do you want to take us back to the beginning? When did you start this?
So we started it. It'll be 8 years in January.
Okay.
And again, we started with just a word of mouth, tell our friends that we know we're dealing with a loved one with addiction. And then eventually we got the brochures to do Nar-Anon groups, which is the sister to NA. It's for the families. And I won't ever, you know, put down Nar-Anon or NA or AA, but I will tell you it wasn't enough.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. It was great for us, me and my sister-in-law, because we knew we had to work on ourselves.
Yeah.
Like, you know, when you get to a point where, like, you just know that, right? Mm-hmm. But by the same token, why do you go to those meetings? Most people walk in there not thinking that they have to help themselves. They're in there because they want to know what to do for their loved ones. Yeah. And that's not the way Nar-Anon is. It's the focus on yourself. So again, I believe that it saved my life 12 years ago when I first started going to Nar-Anon. And then I brought that here. So it's not that it's a bad thing. What I'm saying is what we followed up with, or what we knew we had to learn from, I went down and did some shadowing with Rich Jones, who at the time was running FAVOR Greenville.
Okay.
And he opened this, well, it was already open, but, you know, he took this RCO from being this small little town RCO type thing to like third in the nation in terms of retention. So I went down and shadowed him and realized that, like, wow, this is what we need. You know, here's what I think happened here, Justin. I think we started out with, what do we see the need?
Yes.
Which was families. So we started that. And then we went to, okay, but what's next? All right, well, that would be all recovery and helping those that are suffering, right? Mm-hmm. So we went to that. And then we saw other things, like, we don't have a clinic here that takes care of medication for people. Nobody even cares that that's an option, right? Yeah. So I did a partnership, took me 5 years, but I did a partnership with Allegheny Health Network to come in with a mobile clinic, and they bring a little van and they offer medication-assisted treatment. Is that for everyone? No. Does it always work? No. But it's another pathway and another option. Mm-hmm. So everything we've grown to where we are today, I can tell you has been out of what we all, as the family group and the original founders here, saw as the next step, the next need. So it's just been, if I take a look back at everything, it's been pretty amazing to watch it grow, and you don't realize how amazing it is until, you know, you take that step back and go, oh, yeah, we just keep providing whatever people need.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is.
There's not one single thing that can fix one single person. There's not one single thing that can fix everybody. So all these little things that we're saying are just tools in the belt, and when you add them together, it gives someone the highest chance of success.
It gives them hope.
Hope is the biggest. Hope's always the
gives them hope.
Hope's the biggest thing.
I tell families, especially new ones coming in, if I could talk to your child mm-hmm. or your husband or your wife, whoever's struggling, and I could open a book and go by these little tabs, like, oh, okay, this is about you, this is about you, this is about you. Here's the answer. We got it.
Oh, yeah.
right? Wouldn't that be fabulous?
Yeah.
But it's not that way. And so, we have to be here together for each other, and that's what we try to do.
Yeah. We all want this magic pill, but that magic pill is the reason everybody got in trouble in the first place.
In the first place. That's a great point.
Yeah. So my favorite thing of doing all this is I've had a handful of moms come up to me that were like, thank you so much. I have my child. I have my child back. And that's why it's one of the best things about doing this. I had a woman hug me one night at Sheetz and say, I know people from the Rooster's Nest, and I'll send anybody there one time. And like all these times when I get discouraged and think we're not actually making any headway, I just think back to those little times, and that's what keeps driving me forward to doing this stuff. So I just want to thank you for doing this stuff. This is all fantastic.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you coming here every other Thursday.
Oh, yeah.
I would love to have that going on and enough people that we could do that every week.
Yeah.
I just think it would make such a big difference if people really knew what we do. So that's another great reason to do this.
Yeah.
Because we can let people know, this isn't just we're going to go out and play basketball with you for a while, but actually some peer support.
Yeah, I want to get people, like the logic behind it is to get people's heart rates elevated and excited
Yes.
and the endorphins flowing and that sort of stuff. And then when you sit down to do stuff like this, that anxiety is worn off a little bit and you can actually open up and talk about that stuff.
Yeah.
And Jenna, I think, does a great job every couple weeks here when we come down to when she does her own lesson planning. And one of her biggest things is just taking a second to be grounded and breathing and doing that sort of stuff.
Yeah, the mind-body connection. And how much you're.
So you like to do that with me daily? Is that a possible thing? Because I don't know anyone who don't need that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Especially right now, there's a lot going on. So
what's the biggest need do you think here?
You mean from folks coming in, or what we need to move to? I think the hardest thing, and it's something that my employee Dave does a good job at, and that's moving people to that next step of, we've got you on some medication, you're basically stable, let's look for employment.
Yeah.
And so our grant, which everyone thinks, you got this large grant and you can do anything you want. No, it's very specific.
Grants are tough.
Down to the penny.
Absolutely. Yes.
And you have to let them know where it all goes. And it is totally focused on recovery to work.
Yeah.
And so our grant ends in October. We've ended up, it's over 180 people that have been trained in the recovery support sector. So whether or not they all have jobs, I don't know. We've got that follow-up work to do between now and October. But the point is, we trained for free over 180 people.
Awesome.
So it's all of those things that we wanted to bring, and that was right here. Some of the trainings were out, at other places as well, but we did a whole bunch of them here. And it's just awesome to see that people can have, 18 or more months in recovery and maybe give back but also get paid for it.
Yeah. And I think part of recovery is giving back. It's starting to change a little bit to where you can help people.
Yes.
And it's so funny. A lot of times you find people with the biggest problems, quote unquote, are also your biggest helpers. So.
Yes.
And it's
my favorite tenet of AA is that you keep what you have by giving it away.
Right.
And so the 12th step is that once you've kind of mastered those steps, you then mentor someone else and give it back.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Cool.
And I think our board president, and anybody who sees this is going to laugh because they know he'll walk in for all the meetings that we have, but he'll walk in and I'll go, Justin, I'm glad you're here, right? Because he knows he's going to have to do something, because he's also he does the maintenance, he'll fix the fire alarms, he'll do the whatever.
Oh, yeah.
So it's that give back. He's forever here. He's almost like he's on call for us here. And now he's our board president. So, when folks have come in and got help, they realize that they need to give that, to give that back and give it to other people. So it's a beautiful thing to watch.
Yeah.
If people could just come in and watch that, or if we could constantly videotape this place.
Yeah.
And share those stories would be awesome.
Yeah. Now, you guys do maintenance, like what the maintenance drug here that you do, is it Vivitrol?
No, so it's anything that the van can legally bring.
Okay.
So or that we can get from the pharmacy. So it is Vivitrol, Suboxone, Subutex, depending on if the person is pregnant or not. It's any medication that might work. But if they already have a PCP or a mental health doctor, they'll talk about that. The doc will talk about that with them, but that's not our focus, which is why I said to you, we need to move into the peer services.
Okay. All right.
They will help them, and certainly if they're going to run out of meds before they see their doctor, they can call in it's called a bridge script.
Okay.
Just to make sure, but that can't be their focus. They're just not trained in that. But what's really cool is that we just did also a partnership with True Care, and they are able to bring us the Sublocade shots.
Okay.
So it's the same as Suboxone, only in injection form. Let's face it, less likely it's not going to be abused.
Yeah.
Can't be sold. It's already in your body. And so we couldn't get that for a while because of the schedule that it is for the narcotics. Allegheny Health Network could not bring that to us in this county.
Okay.
And so now that we also have this agreement, if you will, or whatever it is with True Care, they're able to come in, and we've got a wonderful nurse, Courtney, that brings that for people.
Okay.
So she's from Indiana, so you probably know her.
Yeah,
but,
I was trying to decide, trying to think.
Yeah.
The shots are the way to go for a lot of people.
Yes.
They are taken every 28 days.
Yeah, it's a month, and sometimes depending on, like the Vivitrol, depending on when the script falls, and we only have Allegheny Health Network here every other week, like you.
Yeah.
Then it also makes it difficult to fall in that schedule. So that's also nice, having met Courtney, that she can meet people in Indiana as well. So we're kind of like expanding out with that medication to make sure that we can always offer. What we were doing was Doc was calling in a bridge script of pills until we can meet with them the following week. Like, we've worked this all out to a pretty smooth running offer for people to not have to travel too far.
Yeah.
And it's not just that. It's like there are clinics in Boulder. We can't do methadone.
Yeah.
And there are clinics in Blairsville. There's clinics in Johnstown. But let's face it, lots of folks don't have transportation, nor do they have family who's willing to take them to the clinic, because they see that as, lots of people still see that the stigma around medication is awful. And, they still see that as, well, that's just a crutch. That's not. But we've got folks, if I could just get Matt here to speak about how medication can really help you through those rough times, and you will get over this.
Well,
give yourself time.
I don't know what's wrong with having a crutch. If you have a broken leg, you need that crutch.
You need the
to
crutch.
heal.
Well, that's
Yeah.
a great point. We say that with my blood pressure meds. I mean, I can't be without them. Mm-hmm. Yes, I need to lose 100 pounds, but I mean, some of us need help. So
Well, I mean, we use alcohol or pills as a crutch, so why not use
the good stuff, the stuff
real
that you
stuff.
need to help. Yes.
Yeah, I haven't talked about this. I talk about this in our classes, but I haven't really talked about it on here. I actually took the Vivitrol shot for a year.
Okay.
Yeah, and all it did for me was give me the shot works for a month, and if you drink or do an opiate, it doesn't affect your body. Now, you can do an overabundance. If you do a bunch, it'll affect your body. It'll.
Yes.
But for me, all it did was took that edge away, and it curbed the want to drink. It took the want for a pill. It took the want
Yes.
for that to go away, and it just gave me I can't do it. And that's all. It was like, well, if I can't do it, there's no sense in drug searching. There's no sense in looking for stopping the sheets after work and grabbing a drink or anything, because it just doesn't. And it took that away. And I probably didn't need to do it for a year. I could have probably stayed on it till now. Mm-hmm. And either way, I would have been comfortable with. But those little nights whenever you're home from work and it's 9 o'clock at night and you're like, I just need a drink and then I'm going to go to sleep. You just don't do that.
That's a great point, Justin.
Yeah, and if you can eliminate those one or two little things here,
Yes.
that's how patterns are broken. That's how patterns are made too.
That's how it changes.
Yeah, exactly. I remember one time I stopped at McDonald's and I joked with Trista, like, I only got one double cheeseburger instead of two, and she's like, that's how it starts.
Yeah.
And it was
Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah.
Yeah, I have absolutely no problem with maintenance drugs. In fact, I would encourage people that have an issue to do maintenance drugs.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
I know. I was just gonna say that was, like I said, the reason we added that. It was one of the things that we knew could really help so many people.
Yeah.
But it does have to be. It has to be that system where they also have the CRS,
Yeah.
and they have the certified recovery specialists that are here. They can call 24/7. There has to be that support system along with it, and that's what we have. So that's why the program works so well.
Good.
So,
Good. All right, let's take a quick break and we'll get back here in a second. Okay.
all right.
Back. If you guys hear little toes stomping around here too, it's my dog's in the background. She's just walking around, sniffing everything here.
She's checking everything out.
She is. She's the best. But all right, so we talked about a little bit about where we've been, where are we going, what's going on in the community here.
So there's a lot going on right now.
Yeah.
We have done seriously so many good things here in the community. Would like to see that stay.
Yeah.
And of course, there's always a few naysayers, and we'll get past that. You know, I really believe that because we really are truly doing good things. So our future is very bright.
Awesome.
I've been so excited about what we can do. We've got a group that will be starting soon that is a youth theater group where the folks that will be running that have done theater. It's not like they've got any kind of certifications themselves, but they do theater with a local theater company, and they're coming in to do youth. This is nothing, to be honest with you, this is not the recovery people's, like they can all come.
Yeah.
My point is this is a community thing is what I'm trying to say.
This is part of recovery is normalcy, and living and having fun and doing things like that without drugs and without alcohol.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so I think it was like last November, I would say, we were approached to purchase the Methodist Church down the street. And it's a beautiful building 1898, I believe. It's hard to see the cornerstone. It's gorgeous. It's structurally sound. It does need some work. So, of course, we'll have all of that done the right way and before we fully move in. But for now, we're just doing some fundraisers. And like our kids crew will be there. It will be, the true community center because that's what we have going on here too. We have a kids crew going on where the kids do crafts and talk. There can be very open. And the really nice thing about that is it's community people. We're getting people from, it's not just the families that have recovery needs. They're here just to bring their kids in and have fun. Yeah. So that's just one thing. There's all sorts of things that we'll be moving on to. Like I said, we are getting CPS folks trained.
Okay.
I would love to have gym therapy here every week, things like that. So we'll just keep doing whatever we need to do.
Good.
For the general public, as well as those who are suffering. So
good. And the people can give back in any way, whether it's coming to volunteer, but fundraising is how we basically keep the doors open, fundraising, grants, that sort of stuff.
Again, it's interesting because when we got the grant almost 3 years ago, like I said, it ends in October, it was like, oh, well, you got the grant. You can do everything. No, that is so
that money's
specific.
already spent, basically.
Yes.
Yeah, because you have to have everything set up in order to get the grant.
Well, and we didn't have employees prior to that.
Yeah.
And I don't know if any of you pay employees, and they don't believe me. These poor people get paid peanuts for the work they do. But the point is you do that and all of the taxes and all of the, it adds up. So most of our grant does go for the employees that we have, which is awesome. But it is not allowed to be used for food. It's not allowed to be used to help it. Like all of our snacks that we offer that's all our fundraising efforts. All of the things that we do, like once in a while we need to help people for that first month's rent. Once in a while we need to help people with their electric bill. None of that can be grant. If you would ever put that in the grant, you'd be thrown out of the program. Yeah. So that's all of our fundraising. So it's very, very important that we keep doing that. It's also really important to have those volunteers come back. And we just... I've never really kept track of this because I always said we would never be a numbers people. I didn't want, in all honesty, drug and alcohol commissions have always gone by numbers.
Yeah.
How many numbers have we helped? How many people did we get to treatment? How many people? We never did that. We were just, but the real truth of life is you have to keep track of that if you want a grant because they need to know, right? So we just started tracking our volunteer hours, and I cannot believe that we've got about just under 50 volunteers on a regular basis. And we have logged, I don't remember, I don't know if Carol's sitting over there remembers, but it's something like 18,000 hours in volunteer time last year.
Wow.
Because you figure everything done is volunteers.
Yeah.
Whether they're scrubbing the floors because they've gotten that point, or, like I said, our board president who will fix our lights or do all of that was volunteer time that I didn't say we didn't pay attention to it before. We certainly always thank them or whatever. But when you actually look at the hours of what people cleaning the bathroom.
Yeah.
They'll come in and, the gals will come in and go, bathroom needs cleaned. All of those volunteers, we would not be here. That's why I said, Justin, when you say, this was from you. Okay, I opened the door.
Yeah.
I'll take credit for that.
Yeah.
But the rest of it are the people that walk in this building, and it's amazing.
Yeah, it's such a fantastic little community down here.
Something I think that great leaders say a lot is that it's the people, but it really does all start at the top, Kim. And that wonderful group of people need someone to follow, or they wouldn't know where to go. So.
I get that, Jenna. I do. I guess, and not to be overly humble, but really, but seriously, if you would sit here on any given day and watch Carol, who just pops in and goes, Kim, what do you need today? I'm off. It is amazing that we could not survive without them because we can't afford 10 employees. That's what it would take to cover that. So, yeah, but thank you.
Yeah, attitude reflects leadership.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So
sometimes I have to work on that.
The attitude or the leadership?
The attitude the last few days. Yeah.
So you guys do CPS classes down here? So certified peer specialists?
No, we haven't. That wasn't in our last grant, but that's what we put in for the new grant.
For the new grant. Okay.
Yes, and so we should be able. I don't know. Dave's not here to ask, but I think we put in for 4 CPS classes.
Okay.
So the awesome thing about our CRS and CPS classes that we've, the CRS that we've done, they are 100% free.
Yes, okay.
So we find the grants to pay for that. The last grant actually had that they would also pay for the testing.
Yeah.
I think it's 100 and something for them to get the certification. And let's face it, lots of people in early recovery, these are all at least 18 months, but they don't have that extra money. Who has a couple $1,000s extra to go do a class, even if you do want to work in that field?
Yeah.
So they're 100% free, and that's how we put them in this next grant. The CPS classes will be 100% free.
Okay. Yes,
So.
CPS is certified peer specialist, a CRS is a certified recovery specialist, and each one you have to have a diagnosis to be able to even do that job. So it's people helping people that have been through it before.
Correct.
So.
And and then furthermore for the family side, and the reason why we started this in the first place, I will not let out CFRS and CFPS. So that's the certified family peer specialist and the certified family recovery specialist. So we also have those. So yeah, you need that all. This needs to be a collective, everybody on the same page thing with families.
Yeah.
And with communities. The community needs to be on the same page.
Yeah. And there's not a single person if you're watching this, you obviously have somebody that has or yourself has issues or anything like that. So this is fully encompassing, helping everybody out.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. That's our whole goal.
Yeah.
Let's get, there's so much out there in society today, in my belief, that is against families, that I feel like we need to pull families back together.
Yeah, and I feel like there was a day where, even Sunday dinners don't seem to happen as much anymore, where people were there was a day where if you needed, if someone needed their deck rebuilt or their porch rebuilt, there was 4, 5, 6, 7 people there helping, and now it just feels like everybody's a bunch of individuals walking their own paths, and we just need more places like this where people can be part of a family, part of a community. That's why we stress the CrossFit community and the family and the gym, and you just need everybody needs a pack. Everybody needs somebody to work with. Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. And it's awesome on Tuesday nights. That's our largest group at this point. Tuesday night is all recovery and family group. And what we do is we start out here together at 5:30 is Naranon. So we stick to the 12-step structure. And then at 6:30 is game on, pretty much. So it's whatever anybody wants to talk about. But we do have, when I went down for training down with Rich Jones, there's a whole lot of education that we do. I have a PowerPoint on the brain disease model of addiction, things like that. So we cycle through about 6 different educational things every Tuesday night at 6:30. And then what happens is it usually leads to just open discussion. But what we do is we do the beginning announcements and things like that, and then we split. So the family group stays here so that they can be open, and those in recovery or seeking recovery go up to my coffee shop. So that they can also talk openly, and then we come back together. Now, sometimes if I have a guest speaker coming in, we'll all stay together for the whole education part. But then if someone needs to talk, we've got the private offices, or they can always use my coffee shop upstairs.
Cool.
So, but it's a great group in that respect. It's bringing everyone together.
Okay, cool. Cool. So, what else have we got going on? Anything? What's a normal? Go ahead.
Well, my question was going to be, if someone wants to get involved in the community center, how can they get involved, and who should they reach out to?
Well, so they should definitely reach out to the center. The number answers 24/7, and anybody would be able, whoever, if Dave, Tiffany, or myself is answering, would be able to tell you what days would be best to stop in. Let us know. We also there are folks that will come in because they have community service they have to get in. So we get volunteers that way as well, which is nice. And we sign their papers for them. But if they call the center, the 676-2111, and that's a 724 number, and anybody can tell them like what is current, what we need. An event coming up that we do with other RCOs is called, Jason Relogio, who runs the Favor Laurel Highlands, we started this event together. It's during Recovery Month, which is coming up. September is National Recovery Month. So Jason and I started this Breaking Down the Borders thing.
Yes.
And the reason we did is because, you couldn't get any money. We are physically right now sitting in Westmoreland County. I'm a lifelong Indiana County resident. Mm-hmm. A lot of our people coming in are Indiana County because Robinson is right across the river, mm-hmm. Things like that. Well, if you would go for county help, they'd say, well, but we can't. You're not our county. And so we were like, we need to break down these borders, yes. Right? And so we started this group and we try to get the commissioners there and state representatives and things like that to see that, like, no matter where you are, you're going to need funding to do something like this. You're going to need funding to help the families. And what does it matter? I know there's got to be a certain limit where you have to watch what they're spending, just like I have to watch what I'm spending. But for the most part, from the Pennsylvania state side of it, let's say, we should all be equal and we should be able to get that help. So we do this big event. It has gotten bigger through the years. Yeah. Favor Laurel Highlands and the Indiana Recovery Center are the ones in charge of it this year. We'll just be there to help. But it is September 14th. We do it at the United Little League baseball fields, which is right at the Conemaugh River. It is a Seward address, but it's between Seward, Indiana, and Westmoreland County. So it's really nice because you get all three of those counties involved.
And so we're doing we still Battle of the Bands this year?
They're not doing Battles of the Bands this year. No, you know what they're doing? They're doing free music.
Oh, nice.
Well, it was free anyway, but we did it as a giving away prizes and stuff. No, they've just asked the winner to come back from last year, but they were already booked. So they're getting some bands to come in to play music free. They've got kids stuff going on, of course. We've got a memorial wall like we did last year. We did a candlelit service. We didn't really do the service, but we had them put them on the walls and we had luminaries. They'll do that. They'll do what's really cool, and I'm not involved with, which I should be on an exercise level, but they're doing a softball tournament. And my knees are going, I don't think so. But anyway, they're doing a softball tournament, so we're looking for teams for that. And you can contact us here, and we'll put you in touch with Tanya, or one of the people that are running the softball tournament. So you can get a whole team together. That would be a big help. It will just be a great program. It really will.
Most importantly, what's the food situation like?
For down there? Yeah. We get food trucks in, and the reason the food trucks come in, which is kind of cool, is we don't charge anything. Like, we're not making anything on that. Mm-hmm. They don't have to, like at fairs, they pay big money to set up, right? Yeah. So, but I also can't guarantee this could be a year where we get, like, right after COVID, we had maybe 100 people come in. They may only get that many people. So anyway, the food should be good. I know the popcorn, kettle corn people are coming. There's a caterer coming that everybody raved about last year. Honestly, I'm not in charge of it this year, so I don't know.
So you're not sure?
No, I'm not sure who all is coming, but I know that they've got some responses. So, and the other side of that is we also get all of the different rehabs and detoxes and mental health services. Yeah. They all set up there. So if you were a person coming in going, let's go see what this recovery thing is about, you can get information on everything. Food bank. So that's the other thing I did. There's so much going on here. It's hard for me to remember sometimes. But we also have a crisis food bank, thanks to Westmoreland County Food Bank. So that's set up here. Well, they're also coming to the event. So there's a lot of, along with all the drug and alcohol programs as well. Yeah. And they all sponsor it for us. Yeah. So
I think a lot of people think of this as just a drug and alcohol center, but you do so much more for the community.
Yeah, we really do try to, because that it does encompass the whole.
That's what recovery is. It's
right.
Just the ability to live a normal,
yes.
quote unquote normal
life.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know people say to me, what does normal mean? I'm like,
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know what it means.
I don't know.
But any closing thoughts or anything, Jenna? What do you got?
I know, having been through the system and dealt with recovery and just with mental health, the most frustrating thing is the red tape that you have to try and get around. It's hard enough to ask for help, and then when you have to cut through red tape while you're asking for help. So I think that's a great thing that Breaking Down Borders does. I'm a big fan of that initiative and what you do here, Kim.
Yeah, it is good. And you're right. I like the red tape theory. I always use a complicated web. You know, if you were to sit down at the computer and start looking for all these, you'll get anything from rehabs that are trying to body broker. You know, they're trying to get you to send your loved one here for several $100,000, and they're going to come out and they're going to be fine, right? And they're body brokering. And you have to watch that. Like, so any family who don't know, and none of us do, and go online and do all of that. So we will break up that web for you, you know, and again, we don't have all the answers. Any group that tells you they've got all the answers, they know exactly how to do it, run from them, because we don't have all the answers. But what we do have is like, oh, you know, that's a body brokering place. Let's see if we can find your loved one somewhere else to go, you know, places that we actually know or have worked with or that's willing to work with us. So yeah, red tape, web of information, you know, that's what we've learned through these 8 years being here. So, and share it.
I know I had someone, I won't tell the story because it's not mine to tell, but I had someone very close to me who dealt with addiction. And I remember we all kept saying, well, he needs to go to rehab. He needs to go to rehab. But then when it came down to brass tacks, we're like, but how do you get there? And where is rehab? Is it just this magical building? Do we just take them and drop them off and it just says rehab? Like you hear that all the time, but you don't know the steps to take to actually get into recovery.
Right, you don't. And you know, it's really interesting because lots of times when folks show up and present themselves, let's say at the hospital, which they may need to be there, but they're pretty much told where they need to go. There's lots of places out there that have contracts. So they'll have contracts with different rehabs where like they'll just always recommend those rehabs, right? Because they're getting a little bit of a kickback. We get nothing. And so I'll never forget one time a young man, Carol will know who I'm talking about, but where I laid out brochures and I'm like, well, we know what this one is. We've had someone there that got this there. And this one is good for this. And this one's going to focus more on mental health. And he literally sat back in his chair and he went, wait a minute, you're giving me a choice? And I'm like, of course, this is your life. Where do you want to go? You know? So that's the greatest thing about the years that we've been here too, because we do now know what some of them are better at.
Of recovery.
It is. You're right. That's a great way to look at it. Yes. So.
Yeah, and rehabs, each one has their own unique characteristic, but they all smell like cigarettes.
Right. I know. That is the one thing I complain about here.
Yeah.
Put your butts in the container.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hate smoking. But anyway.
Yeah. But I don't know. That's about it. Do you have anything else? Anything you want to promote or anything you want to do before we...
No, I mean, honestly, I appreciate everything you all do. I so love that you're here every other week. And Jenna, thanks. Just the fact that I wish we could get more people that will go like, let me just go listen. You know,
Yeah.
if they're intimidated by the gym side of it, because I am. Like, I can't do any of those things.
That's why we walk a lot, though. That's
And
why
that's why we
Right.
put Justin out front.
Yeah,
you don't even have to be in
like,
shape.
look at me.
Oh, no.
But it is. That's why we go up to the community or the park up here. We'll throw the ball around. We'll play basketball. We'll just hang out in the backyard. We'll walk. We try to make
Sometimes
everything.
the kids roll down the hill.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Roll down the
that's-
big hill. That's
But-
always a winner.
I can tell you from coming here, there was a couple young people that came to our class and they were such an inspiration to me because they're younger people. They're still in school. They're out in the world getting jobs, getting driver's license, working places, and they expressed like a couple times like, we're not doing very good in life, and it's like, You're not, you know what I mean? You're
'Cause it looks like it.
Yeah, because you're doing great. They don't have they don't understand how well they're doing, and it's such a good little community here, and you've helped out so many people in the past year, and we're very thankful that you let us come back every 2 weeks anyways. So.
Well, we appreciate it. And, and like I said, it's just so difficult to actually, when I thought about doing this with you, and we've been trying to do it for a very long time, it's like, what do you even say? Because just like the food bank, I totally forgot. And yet, I don't know why, because there's people in almost every day.
Yeah.
But like there's just so many little things we do that we just do it because it needs it.
Yeah, and we have to remember too when we're speaking about ourselves, people donate their money and their time to us. They need to see what we're giving back to them too. So we're not being like braggy when we say like these are the things we're doing. We're trying to express like we're out here doing the work, and we're out here trying and changing, and we're gonna work just as hard for you because we like the community. We love the community. This is like we're all people of service.
And that's exactly right. And I think that's why we forget what all we do. Because you just do it.
Well, and you feel, anytime you feel you're talking about yourself, you feel guilty. So it just naturally, But
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but it's been good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you both. I really appreciate you.
And we'll be here every other Thursday until she throws us out. So.
And that's not happening.
Right,
I'm hoping we can do it every week.
All right, good. And we might do this again in the future, but thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you guys soon. So love you guys.
Love you. Bye.